ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿವಸ ಶ್ರೀರಿತ್ವಿಕ್ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ಸ್ ಶುರು ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. 3 ಅಥವಾ 4 ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅವಧಿಗಳು. ವಿಷಯ ನಕ್ಷತ್ರ ಸೂಕ್ತಂ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ 30 ನಕ್ಷತ್ರಗಳು, ನಕ್ಷತ್ರಗಳ ಹೆಸರುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ 27 ನಕ್ಷತ್ರ, 30 ನಕ್ಷತ್ರ ಸೂಕ್ತಗಳ ಅನುವಾಕಗಳು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫ್ಸ್. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಹತ್ವ, ಅದರ ಅಧಿದೇವತ, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕಥೆಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕಥೆಗಳು, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರತಿಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿವಸ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಭಾಗ, ಈ ಶ್ರೇಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಅವಧಿ. ಶ್ರೀ ರಿತ್ವಿಕ್ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಗುರುಕುಲ, ವೇದ ಪಾಠ ಗುರುಕುಲ. ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾಟ್ ಬೈ ಏಜ್ ಬಟ್ ಬೈ the time he joined and still continuing.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ಹರಿ ಓಂ. So just before starting, I just want to give a small disclaimer. We cannot say a star is a nakshatra, or we cannot say God is devata, because the Western words do not have a basis of why that word came into being. So today we'll also see that why we cannot call star a nakshatra, because you might go behind the meaning of star. Star andre ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೋದ್ರೆ they might give you a Greek or this origin, but nakshatra has a specific meaning. What is nakshatra anta? So today humans are, since time immemorial, we have seen that humans are very imaginative creatures. Our rishis and munis saw nakshatra long before. We can see in the slides, these are the Western concepts that I'm just showing it to you. ಅವರು ಈ ತರ ಸಿಂಹದ ಥರ ನೋಡೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಹಂಟರ್ ಥರ ನೋಡೋದು, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ they would have imagined long ago. So the Western names for this are the Orion constellation, Sagittarius, Ursa Major, Gemini, ಆ ಥರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So using these types of words is what we have to think about it. ನಾವು ಇಂಥ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಬೆಟರ್ ಅಂತ. And we'll start with Nakshatra Sookta. So today the topic is Nakshatra Sookta. So in Yajur Veda there are 28 stars, including the Abhijit Nakshatra. We have total of 30 mantras in this Sookta that includes Poornima and Amavasye. Usually ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಚಿಕ್ಕವರಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಅಶ್ವಿನಿ, ಭರಣಿ, ಕೃತ್ತಿಕ, ರೋಹಿಣಿ ಅಂತ in this order. But in the Yajur Veda, it starts from Krittika and ends with Bharani. In total, there are 27 stars. That excludes the Abhijit. That becomes 27. Okay, so now when we are understanding what is Nakshatra Sookta, first let us understand what is the meaning of Nakshatra. Let's understand the etymology of Nakshatra. So what does the word Nakshatra mean? That is what I said. Iga now yararu, if we ask someone, why do you call something twinkling in the sky a star anta, they might not be able to tell you. But if you ask me what does a nakshatra mean, I would say naksharati iti nakshatraha. So this is the dhatu or the root of why the nakshatra word came into being. So these are fixed celestial objects in the universe that we call them as nakshatra. So Ksharati in Sanskrit means to move or to flow. So that doesn't move, or that celestial object that doesn't move at all is called a nakshatra. Another meaning of nakshatra is Naka plus Kshatra. So what does this mean is Naka is night and Kshatra is lordship or rulership over the night. So a celestial body that has got rulership or lordship over the night is called a nakshatra. These nakshatras are the constellations that lie in the orbit of the moon. So as we all know that the earth revolves around the sun and the moon revolves around the earth. So this is the orbital paths of Chandra only. So that is why we have only 27 constellations in this. So in the next slide, we can see that these are the lokas. We can see that there are many stars in all the above lokas. Now, yavaglu sandhyavanದನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಪ್ರಾಣಾಯಾಮ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಓಂ ಭೂಹು ಓಂ ಭುವಃ ಓಂ ಸುವಃ ಓಂ ಮಹಃ ಓಂ ಜನಃ ಓಂ ತಪಃ ಓಂ ಸತ್ಯಂ. So these are the lokas, the urdhva lokas that are going up. But then we have lokas that are down also. Atala, vitala, sutala, rasatala, talatala, mahatala, patala loka. So between all these lokas that are also concentric circles, there exists nakshatras. So you might be wondering, why do we only have 27 or 28 nakshatras? So these nakshatras are the nakshatras that exist in the orbital paths of the moon. That is why we call this the Chandramana, or in Western terminology, it's called as lunar calendar. So these are the constellations or stars that lie in the orbit of the moon. So that is why we call it Chandramana. There are two types of calendars or panchangas. One is Chandramana and one is Sauramana. So the ones that we follow is Chandramana, that is the orbital path of the moon. So now let us go into a little interesting story. So this is a story in the Puranas. So in the Puranas, Soma, that is usually referred to as Chandra, he married the 27 nakshatras. These 27 nakshatras were the daughters of Daksha Prajapati. So 27 nakshatras became the 27 wives of Chandra. So Chandra was doting upon only one of his 27 wives, that was Rohini. So he was only giving a lot of attention to Rohini. So the other 26 wives went and complained to Daksha Prajapati, their father. So Daksha Prajapati gets angry and gives Shapa to Chandra or Soma, saying that you should be waning or decreasing in size. Then Soma went to Shiva, and because of Shiva's anugraha, today that is why we see the both waxing and waning. That means decreasing and increasing sizes of the moon. So the decreasing and increasing size of the moon is happening because of Soma or Chandra's overindulgence with one of his wives. So this is just a story of Chandra and why we see the waxing and waning. So now, because of this, because of seeing the movements of the moon, our rishis and munis came up with the idea of months or masa that was created, and we got to know and time. We got to measure. How do we measure time? So the division of months was based on the phases of the moon, and they were divided in different ways, such as Amavasya, Shukla Paksha, Poornima, Krishna Paksha, and Amavasya. So these are the things that happened because of the whole story that I just told right now. So Amavasya is the starting of the lunar cycle or each month. Shukla Paksha is the waxing phase, that means increasing size. Then we have Purnima, that is the full moon. Then we come to the Krishna Paksha. Krishna in Sanskrit means black or dark. So dark phase of the moon, in the sense when the moon's size is decreasing, the amount of light falling on Earth because of the reflection of sun and the moon is becoming lesser. That is why we call it Krishna Paksha. Then at the end of the month we have Amavasya. Then the lunar cycle gets completed. So in today's seminar, we'll be going through all the Nakshatra Sooktas, Nakshatra, that includes Abhijit, Poornamasya and Amavasya. So in total, there are 30 mantras and we'll be going through each of it thoroughly. So before going through each of the nakshatras thoroughly, we have come across this concept of Adhidevata and Pratyadhidevata. So first let us understand what is Adhidevata and Pratyadhidevata, because even when we go to study about Krittika Nakshatra, Rohini Nakshatra, Mrigashira, every nakshatra has a Adhidevata and Pratyadhidevata. So to understand why do they have that as Adhidevata, Pratyadhidevata, we should understand what is Adhidevata, Pratyadhidevata. So Adhidevata, it is the principle of perception. So let us take an example. For example, let us take a sense organs. That let's take the eye. So what is the principle of perception for our eyes? So it is Surya. We say Suryo me chakshushi shrutihi. So what does this mean? Saying that Surya is the shining principle. Surya is the one that enables us to see, that enables us to look at the colorful world around us. So that is why it enables us to see, and it becomes the principle of perception behind our vision.
Suryo me chakshushi shritaha.
Suryo me chakshushi shritaha.
Shritaha.
Shritaha. Okay. So that is why Surya becomes our Adhidevata. So another example that we can give is that any other example such as nose, it is because of the Ashwini Devatas that we are able to smell. So this becomes our Adhidevata. So whenever there is a principle of perception, we understand that it becomes an Adhidevata. So to understand it, to make it more simple, let's take an example of Ramayana. Bharata takes Rama's Padukas, and even though Bharata is the one ruling, it is in the name of Rama. So Rama's Paduka becomes the Adhidevata. So when Bharata was over there, Bharata was actually ruling, but it was Rama's Paduka that was there in the name. So Rama's Paduka became the Adhidevata. So these symbols, the Paduka became the symbol of Adhidevata. So similarly, we get many other symbols such as murtis. So we have all seen people say that, in today's terms, we see that people say that we do idol worship or something like that. So first thing I would like to say is, please understand what is Adhidevata and Pratyadhidevata. We say Adrushta, Avyakta, Aspashta, Nirguna, Nirakara, Sarvaguna Sampanna, the Devarannu ನಾವು ಪೂಜಿಸುತ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂತೀವಿ. But how will you visualize, or how will you think about what is Deva? That you see through the Murti. That is why the Murti becomes your Adhidevata. So this is a small example of what is Adhidevata. And next, let us now understand what is Pratyadhidevata. Before that, let us understand what is the etymology of Adhidevata. That is Adhikruto Devaha Yena Guna Atishayat. So that means an absolutely visible characteristic. So there are many other Adhidevas such as Kshetra Adhidevata, Rajya Adhidevata, Vidya Adhidevata. For example, if we take Kshetra Adhidevata, we have Kashi. So Kashi's Kshetra Adhidevata will be Vishwanatha, and Rajya Adhidevata of Mysuru will be Chamundeshwari. Same way we say Vidya Adhidevata is Saraswati. So anything that is an absolutely visible characteristic also becomes the Adhidevata. Next, when we speak about the Pratyadhidevata, we can say it is something like the assistant of Adhidevata. It protects and makes sure that the Adhidevata does not lose its luster. So let us take the example of Prajapati. We can say Prajapati, the creator, he makes sure that the quality of Dharma and the heat and light of Agni will never fail. So we can see this in our day-to-day lives, that have we ever seen when Agni is, burning, has it ever lost its property of burning? So why does this happen? That is because the Pratyadhidevata, it is making sure that the Adhidevata does not lose its luster. So therefore, this is the structure and a small introduction of what is Nakshatra Sookta and what we'll study now. So next, let us start with every nakshatra one by one. So first comes our Krittika Nakshatra. So since we understood Adhidevata and Pratyadhidevata, we know that for Krittika Nakshatra, it's Agni as Adhidevata and Pratyadhidevata is Kartikeya. So Krittika Nakshatra is the first nakshatra. So let us take a look of the etymology of what is Krittika. This also has a story behind it. So Shiva wanted a son to slay a demon called Tarakasura. It is said that Shiva had taken a vow of Brahmacharya, sorry. Shiva had taken a vow of Brahmacharya. So all the devatas came and persuaded him and said that whatever happens, you need to have a child so that the Tarakasura can be killed. But Shiva had done serious amount of tapas, so it could not have been broken easily. That is why all the devatas went and prayed to Agni Devata. So that is how Agni becomes significant in the Kritika Nakshatra. So after everyone prayed to Agni Devata enables Shiva to have the child. So when this child was born, Shanmukha, the child was first born and it had to be fed. So all the devatas assigned six of the seven celestial limbs. All of them were called Krittikas. So because all the six mothers were assigned to feed the baby, the baby was called as Shanmukha. So these Krittikas, who are these Krittikas? So namely they are Ambadula, Nitati, and we have Meghayanti, Varshayanti, Chipunika, and so on and so forth. Even next in the um, our sorry, I forgot the name in our Udaka Shanti mantra. At the last, we can see there are you can see in this slide, yeah. So in the last of Udaka Shanti mantra, we have Amba, Yasva, all the names of all the we have all the names of all the Kritikas present over there. So out of seven, six were assigned to feed the child. That is why he was known as Shanmukha. We can see in the Udaka Shanti mantra, we have Amba, Yasvaha, Dila, Yasvaha. So all these are the names of the Kritikas in the Udaka Shanti mantra. So because Kartikeya, that is how his name came into, because Shanmukha was fed by all the Kritikas, he was known as Kartikeya. Next, let us go into the actual mantra that we chant in the Nakshatra Sookta. So, Agnirnah Pata Krittika Nakshatram Devabindriyam Itamasam Vichakshadam Abhirasan Juhotana Yasya Bhanti Rashpayo Yasya Ketavaha Yasyeva Vishva Bhupanati Sarva Sakrittika Viravi Samvasanaha Atirto Devasuvite Tadhatu. Now let us understand what is the meaning of each and everything. So Agdirnaf Pata Krittika. We can see that Agni is the Adhidevate of Krittika. Next we have Nakshatram Devamindriyam. Indriyam Devam. So these are the characteristics that we are describing of Krittika Nakshatra. Let our Indriyas shine like Agni. Seven Kritikas lie in our seven Gnanendriyas. That is why we say Nakshatram Devamindriyam. Next we have Idamasam Vichakshanam Havihi. We just have to transpose the Havi borrow over here to understand. So Asam means mouth. So in the mouth of Agni, Vichakshanam Havihi. So I offer the offerings that are capable of giving Prakasha and Samruddhi to the whole world. So that is what Nakshatram Devamindriyam Idamasam Vichakshanam means. Next we have Abhirasan Juhotana. So whenever the Homa is happening, the Purohita is the one who's conducting the Yajna and is guiding the Yajamana who's doing the Homa. So he says Juhotana means, O Yajamana, you offer in this way. He is instructing. So this can also be said that this can also be an utterance by Brahma, who is supervising the yajna and telling the Ritvik or Ritvija to who is making the adharya, that is the offering. This is what Havira Sanjuhodana means. Next we have Yasya Bhanti Rashpagyo Yasya Ketavaha. So Yasya Bhanti Rashmayoho. So they emit light. Just like the sun emits light, sun is a star. So any other nakshatra that emits light and sends out light is Rashmayoho. So in that particular light, there must be Prakasha. That becomes our illuminating principle. So we are asking Agni and Kritika to constantly provide us with Prakasha in our world. So illi now we are asking that Agni and Kritika, we are praying to them that let please constantly provide Prakasha to our world. Next we have Yasya Ketavaha. So Ketu means two things in Sanskrit. One can be a flag and one can be a symbol. So the symbol of Agni is usually identified by the existence of smoke. So that is why Agni is also known as Dhumaketu. So the one with the flag of smoke is called as Dhumaketu. So this is the symbol of Agni, Yasya Ketavaha. Then we have Yasyeva Vishva Bhuvanani Sarva. So we have Ima. Ima means these. Vishva Bhuvanani. All the elements and all the realms that are Bhu, Hu, Bhuva, Bhurbo, Swaha that we have seen. So may it all shine is what we are asking here. Whose flames shine everywhere, who illuminates the whole Jagat. He is the Agni. Saha Agni, that Agni, Krittika Abhisambasanaha. So Agni is surrounded by all these kritikas. So Agni over there, who's illuminating everyone, is surrounded by all the Kritikas, and all of them are self-luminous, that is Swayam Prakasha. So in the next mantra, they say Agdirno Devasya Vite Dadhatu. So may Agni Deva lead us to good paths, and so on and so forth. So next, every nakshatra, as you can see in this constellation side, every nakshatra, if a person is born during that particular nakshatra, it gives the person a specific amount of characteristics. So if we see with Krittika Nakshatra, the characteristics are of strong will, determination, and a creative mind. So this is what a person who is born under the Krittika Nakshatra, these are its characteristics. And just before we go to the next nakshatra, in the last we say dadhatu. So all of us should make sure to pronounce it as dadhatu. If we say dadatu, it changes the meaning. So there is a subtle difference between dadhatu and dadatu. So when we say dadatu, it is that let him just give, and as soon as it is consumed, it is gone forever. It is lost forever. That is dadatu. When we say dadhatu, the how the dadhatu is made is of the poshane and dharane. That is how this word is made. So when we say dadhatu, it nourishes, it flourishes, and it also sustains. So this is the subtle difference between dadhatu and dadatu. This is just like the subtle difference between pala and phala. So all of us know the difference between pala and phala. So the same way, this is the difference between dadhatu and dadatu. So this was all about Kritika Nakshatra and the characteristics. Next, go to the second Nakshatra, that is the Rohini Nakshatra. So there are two parts in each mantra of each Nakshatra. One is called Puronuvak and other one is called Yajam. So when we say Puronuvak or Puronuvakya, it refers to the type of mantra that is chanted before the offering of the Havis. So Pura means before and Anuvaka is a paragraph. So this can also be chanted many times, like 21 times or 108 times. So these are the two parts, that is Puronuvak and Yajam. So in this Rohini Nakshatra, we have Adhidevata as Brahma and Pratyadhidevata as Prajapati. This is the second Nakshatra. And when we come to its mantra, we see that the Puronuvakya is Prajapate Rohini Vetu Patni Vishvarupa Brahati Chitrabhanu Salo Yagyasya Suvite Tadhatu Yatha Jive Masharadas Saviraha. This is the Puronovakya. That is, this is said before offering the Havis. Let us understand what does this say. I say that Prajapati Rohini Vetu Patni. This means that Rohini is the wife, that is Patni of Prajapati, the creator. So when we say Prajapati, we say Prajanam Patihi. So Praja is basically referred to perfectly created living beings. So in the Puranas, we say that Chaturmukha Brahma is the creator, but in the Vedic context, we say it's Prajapati. So she may accept our offerings, is what we are saying in, we'll say in the next upcoming lines. Next we say Vishwarupa Brahati Chitrabhanu. Rohini is Vishwarupa. That means multiform. Anything that is very beautiful in the world or looks very beautiful, it is attributed to Rohini Nakshatra, saying that Vishwarupa, Idi Vishwadalli, Yellalliyu irudu of grandeur and beauty, that is attributed to Rohini Nakshatra. So now, how do we identify the presence of Rohini Nakshatra? Is Chitrabhanu. Anything that is dazzling with beauty is attributed to Rohini Nakshatra. Now, since we are invoking Rohini Nakshatra, there must be a reason behind it. So the reason is Yajnasya Suvite Dadhatu, that comes in the upcoming lines. So Yajnasya is the yajna that you are doing. Suvite is the outcome of the Punya Phala. So the Punya Phala of the yajna is what we are asking. And this Punya Phala should remain for a long time. So that is why in the next we have Yatha Jivema Sharadasya Viraha. So this means that for a long, long time, from Putra to Pautra to Prapautra, they should all remain very powerful, lustrous, and they should all be high achievers. Next in this, we say that this is Shatam Jivema. Shatam means 100. Always, whenever anyone blesses us, Yararu Doddor Namge Ashirvada Madidre, they always say Shatayur Vajradehaya and all those types of shloka. So, always we have said that a human should live for 100 years. And this has been broken down into 25, 25, 25. That is Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. That is why it is Sharadasya, Shatanjivema Sharadasya Viraha. Means that all your let me live for 100 years, let my son live for 100 years, let my grandson live for 100 years, and all of them be healthy and happy and prosperous. So that is what Shatanjivema Sharadasya Viraha means. So now to the second part of the mantra, that is Yajyam, that is the second part, says after Sharadasya Viraha, that is Rohini Devitagat Purastat Vishwarupadi Pratimodamana Prajapatigum Havisha Vardhayanti Priya Devanamupayatu Yagnam. So this is the second part. So in the last part we say Upayatu Yagnam. So may Rohini Devi come to our Yagna. So how is this possible? So Vishwarupani Pratimodamana. So Prati means towards. Vishwarupani, for all the living creatures this creation of in this creation of Brahma. Then next we have Modamana is causing delight. So, when I am inviting Rohini Devi for all the well-being, it's not just the well-being for myself or my family. It is that if I want Rohini Devi to come, it's not just for my sake or my family's sake, but for Vishwa Rupani, that is for the entire Jagat, that she should cause delight. That is Pratimodamana. So, for everyone, let Rohini Nakshatra cause delight. Then we say Priya Devanam. That is, you are, you're a Priya to all the Devas. You're loved by all the Devas. Priya Devanam. Then in the mantras, we also say Prajapatigum Havisha Vardhayanti. So, any offering that is made to Rohini Devi, this also strengthens Prajapati. Prajapati, that is the husband of Rohini. So, Prajapati is the very creative. So, when we offer to Rohini, that strengthens Prajapati, that in turn strengthens all the living creatures. So, and his creation. So, in summary, the Ananda Swarupa is what we are praying to, that is Rohini Nakshatra. So, we can see the red dot in this constellation is Rohini Nakshatra. The characteristics of Rohini Nakshatra is very charismatic, nurturing, and artistic. So, a person born under Rohini Nakshatra will be having these kind of characteristics. So, I think for today, we have spoken about two nakshatras and the introduction of what is Nakshatra Sookta. In the next upcoming two classes, in the next upcoming two sessions, we can understand more about next Mrigashira Nakshatra, then what is Abhijit Nakshatra, then we'll see what is Poornamasya, what is Amavasya, and all this. But for today, I would like to end with saying that till today we have covered the introduction of Nakshatra Sookta and two nakshatras, that is Krittika Nakshatra and Rohini Nakshatra. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಗಳೇ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಶ್ರೀರಿತ್ವಿಕ್ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ,
ಹಾ ಗುರುಗಳೇ.
ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು.
Rohini is the wife of Prajapati. Rohini is the wife of Chandra. I didn't understand.
Yes, even I got confused while seeing this. They say that there are both circumstances where they use both of this. So in the Puranas, it is attributed to in the Puranas it says that Rohini is the wife of Soma, that is Chandra. Now in the Vedas, we say Rohini is the wife of Prajapati. So both of these are used. So I just know little about this. I would like to ask Guru that what is the
ಇಲ್ಲ,
actual.
In the Purana, there are many stories that come to illustrate some aspect of Satya. Some of them are concocted also. They are storified, pictorialized.
But in the Vedas it is Prajapati. Also in our puja we do worship Rohini as Chandra's wife only. ಅಲ್ವಾ ಚಂದ್ರ ಅರ್ಘ್ಯ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಈ ಸಂಕಷ್ಟ ಚತುರ್ಥಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಾವು ಚಂದ್ರ ಅರ್ಘ್ಯ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ರೋಹಿಣಿ ಸಹಿತ ಶಿಷ್ಯನ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಹೇಳೋದು.
In the Veda, it has been mentioned like that. Even in the Vedas, where the stories come, it is called Arthavada. Arthavada means stories in Vedas. Like
Okay.
there are stories like Bhrigur Vaiva Runihi Varunam Pitaram Upasasara. Bhrigu, the son of Varuna, who is called now Bhrigu is called Varuni. He approached his father and said, Adihi Bhagavo Brahma. And his father said, go and find out for yourself and do tapas. All these are stories. They are not always talking about Vedanta, Adarsha Ali.
Okay.
So some stories do come. Rudra, very interesting stories are there about Rudra. Do you know about any stories about Rudra?
No, not many.
In the Veda only, there is a story. There'll be somebody who is doing some yaga. While doing the yaga, there is a instruction saying that the main Ritwik has to be given dakshina in a golden coin. This so-called people in the world, on the earth, they may say, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಈ ಋತ್ವಿಕ್ ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಈ ಪುರೋಹಿತ್ಗೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನಾ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚಿನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ರ ಬೆಳ್ಳಿ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ he thinks.
Okay.
So it should not be done because you are asking for a phala. Phala can be what? ಸಂತಾನ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ತಿ, ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ತಿ, ಐಶ್ವರ್ಯ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ತಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಮ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದು. If you want phala, you have to do it exactly the same manner as it has been said. You cannot reduce the thing. So, what happens if this Yajamana gives a silver coin to that Ritwik instead of a gold coin to the Ritwik Kanake? Sometimes, like people like Adarsha, not like Adarsha, somebody else, chalta hai yaar, let me give silver coin, no, anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಪ್ರವೃತ್ತಿ ಬರಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. Veda itself tells a story. What happened is, this Rudra, this is Agni, he is like the safe deposit locker for all the devatas. When all the time, many times there will be war happening in Swarga between devatas and asuras. Constant fight. Every year they will fight. So at one fight, there was a very big fight. So all the devatas, what they did is, just in case the Rakshasas come and then invade us, we don't want all our gold and other things to be taken away by the Asuras. So we'll deposit in the safe deposit locker. He gave it to Agni, Rudra. He is not called Rudra yet. He is called Agni. Then Rudra took all the gold, all the bangles of their wives, all the the necklaces, the gold coins and everything he kept in his safe deposit locker. 1 year over, still the devatas did not return from the war. Nobody knows how many have died. What happens to the gold in the safe deposit locker if the depositor dies? He did a scam and said, I have a feeling that this time the devatas will get killed. Half of them may get killed. So he started using the gold that was in the safe deposit lockers given by the devatas. Within a few months, all the devatas returned successfully. Jai Ho Anta. After they celebrated and had their dinner, they came to Agni and said, give me my gold back. Then he had already swallowed half the gold. This is all story in the Veda only. Nothing of this is real. This is like to show that Yajamana should not give silver coin where it has been instructed to give a gold coin. The story goes like this. When they came and asked Agni that give me back my gold, he said he looked this side, that side. He was in the witness box. Then judge said you will be sent to jail. Then he cried. When he cried, the tear drops from Rudra was so profuse, they fell on the earth from Devaloka. When the teardrops of Rudra fell on the earth, they became silver. So the story goes that instead of gold, if you give a silver coin to the Maharitvika, in 1 year, in your house, there'll be a situation where somebody or all of you will cry. That story, by hearing that, the Jajamana will feel shuddering, saying, no, let me give gold coins only. Otherwise, some apaghata will happen in my family that we may all have to cry. All that story only says, don't give silver coins, give gold coins as instructed. That's all is the meaning of the story. Like that, some stories are concocted. These are all called Akhyayika Arthavadas.
Okay.
They're in the Vedas only. Therefore, Rodanam means what in Sanskrita? Alodo.
Crying.
So Rudra is the person who cried because he was beaten black and blue by the Devatas.
Howda?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is not the original meaning of Rudra. In the Rudradhyaya, Rudra, Chamaka, Tamaka and all that, Rudra means, or Ru means all the Papa, Dra means the person who removes all the Kashta, sorrows. But here Rudra means the person who cried because he was thrashed by the Devatas for not giving back the money. That is also a meaning of Rudra, for your kind information.
Okay.
Like that, there are many Akhyayikas. All of them may not be, be perfect. Yeah, it's just to illustrate a point that they have put a story. Yeah. Go ahead. Any other questions?
Order is there now. Is there a significance? ಈ ನಕ್ಷತ್ರಗಳು ಸೂಕ್ತದ್ದು
ವೇದಗಳಲ್ಲಿ I don't know the answer to this question, but ವೇದಗಳಲ್ಲಿ it is started from Krittika and ends with Bharani. But the ones that we have taught, that adರಲ್ಲಿ Krittika comes third, that's Ashwini, Bharani, Krittika, Rohini, Mrigashira. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah, actually Krittika is the starting point of the Nakshatras as per the Vedas. And the why this order, why this sequence in terms of internal sequences, they are all aligned in the
that's what I thought. Is it related?
Yeah.
Is related to the actual constellation?
By the constellation, and some of these constellations are divided by so many radial degrees, radians. So actually there is nothing like nakshatras moving. So when the when the moon is appearing to go around the earth, the background of that will be that nakshatra. That is what it means as it is in this nakshatra. It is it's a beautiful sky. Everything is fixed. Nakshatras are fixed. They don't move at the speed at which the moon moves. But it is also supposed to move over a period of millennium. But for now, we don't say nakshatras are moving because the earth is rotating. Nakshatras seem to go from north east to west to east or whatever that is. Therefore, when the sun is going round, it comes in the background when there is that constellation. It means that it is in this nakshatra. And these nakshatra there is the 360 degrees is divided by the constellations, 27 constellations.
Okay.
That is how many degrees we will have to find out. 27 and 360 indre eshtaito? Some 12 and a half or
12 something.
Something degrees. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Any other?
Guruvela, if I can just now, whenever ಯಾರು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ the most famous ಮಂತ್ರ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಇದು ಅನುರಾಧ ನಕ್ಷತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So in the mantra, as we saw here, we say shatanjivema sharadas saviraha. That is also ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಗುರುಗಳೇ? When we say you can live for 100 years ಅಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡವರ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ, so that becomes an ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ. So that is why ಅವರು ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ they use Nakshatra Sookta mantra.
ದೇವತಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೀಪ, ದ್ಯೂತನಾದ್ವಾ ದೇಪನಾದ್ವಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೆಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತಹವ್ರು ದೇವತೆಗಳು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಯಂ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಸ್ವರೂಪರಿಗೆ ದೇವತೆಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು. ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋದು. ಜ್ಞಾನ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನಗಳು ಬರ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾರೆ ದೇವಮಿಂದ್ರಿಯಂ ಇದಮಾಸಾಂ ವಿಚಕ್ಷಣಂ ಹವಿರಾಸಂ ಎಲ್ಲವುದು ಅವರ ದೇವತೆಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹವಿಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮಗ್ ಕಾಪಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಒಳ್ಳೇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಒಂದೊಂದು ನಕ್ಷತ್ರಕ್ಕೂ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ, ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದನವೇ. ಇವಾಗ ನೀವೇ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ನನಗಾಗ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊತೀರಲ್ವಾ? ಇವಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ, ನನಗೆ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಾಗ್ಲಿ, ನನ್ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಮದ್ವೆ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ವಾ ಅದು? ಋತ್ವಿಜರು ಬಂದು, ಪುರೋಹಿತರು ಬಂದು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಜಮಾನಂಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳೋದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಅದೇ ಮಂತ್ರ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು. ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಳ್ಳೇದ್ ಮಾಡಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹುಡುಕೋಬೇಕು. ನಾಳೆ ಅವನ್ ತೆಗೆದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಶ್ರೀರಿತ್ವಿಕ್ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ, ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಯಾ ಕಣ. ತುಂಬಾ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಯಾ. ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನು ಸೇರ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡೋ ಇನ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.